man or not?
You've been clear. The names you want are Manny Pacquiao, Errol Spence. How do you make that happen?
Let me tell you something, and I mean this. Spence and Garcia are fighting December 5. If they really want to make a big pay-per-view, I'll put Terence Crawford in with both of them, one at a time, and he beat both of them the same night. He is far and away the best welterweight in the world. He goes back to the great welterweights like Ray Leonard and Tommy Hearns. He would have been competitive with them. The welterweights around now are not competitive with Terence Crawford.
And Bob, you know that what made that era great is that everybody fought everybody, and you were able to make the fights with the heavyweights.
Let's stop right there. I don't think that Terence Crawford is going to get Manny Pacquiao. I don't. Manny Pacquiao can fight, heavily rumored to fight Conor McGregor maybe in April or so. Who's Terence Crawford going to fight around that time? That's around the time he's supposed to be returning. And then there is the speculation that his contract is up with Top Rank in October of 2021. I guess to not bullshit around, what reason does Al Haymon PBC have to do a cross-promotional fight that will likely not guarantee the money or generate the money that they're probably going to predict for a Errol Spence, because that's what it is. Errol Spence is the A side, especially if he beats Danny Garcia December the 5th, which we're going to be providing full coverage for. But what reason does PBC have, especially after I read some of the statements from Bob Arum before and after the fight? So I'm sorry if I'm a little off track. It's late or early. Not that I'm tired, but, adjusting. So once again, what reason does Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford have to happen under a PBC Top Rank banner and not just a PBC promotion? What? Here, let me read something to you here. This is from The Athletic, which I am very happy to support for a grand $1 a month. I waited a few days, before I did this video after reading this article, because I said, all right, let them eat. So here, this is was written by Lance Pugmire, formerly of the, who's this? I didn't forgot him. I don't even read him. The LA Times. There you go. With the Athletic. So, Top Rank's Bob Arum told The Athletic in blistering terms before the fight that it is imperative for Crawford to immediately turn on the publicity charm and turn up the heat over those he wants to fight in the ring. Now, before we go on, I do feel that he should. Now, in my personal opinion, I do feel that even though Errol Spence can be a little low sometime, overall, he's a better showman. I was concerned about if him and Sean Porter was going to be able to sell their pay-per-view, and they did. The PBC face-to-face with Brian Campbell was good. It was some heavy shit there. The PBC Fight Camp episode showed the content was good. The press conferences was good. They both was getting under each other's skin. Sean Porter got a little bit of a crazy side. The post-fight press conference ended it beautifully. The pay-per-view card was good. However, what you notice about Terence Crawford, in the case of the Jose Benavidez most recently, it takes somebody to bring out the showman or the publicity charm in him. It's not that, he sells tickets. He gets ratings. By the way, we're going to pull up the ratings before the end of the video. It peaked at about, 2.7 million or something? Overall, 2 million. And of course, they had that 26-plus minute debacle at the beginning with Franco versus Maloney. But anyway, let me get back to this. This is a quote from Bob Arum from the Athletic. He's got to promote like unified champion Teofimo Lopez does. He's got to promote like former featherweight champion Shakur Stevenson does. Like Floyd Mayweather did. Like Manny Pacquiao did. Manny Pacquiao's a different situation. This quote has been circulating around on social media, especially Twitter, and a lot of people have been having issues with it. Well, Manny Pacquiao is a global icon. You can't really count him. He never was like a showman in regards to, like outspoken, brash. His people is his showmanship, in my opinion. Arum said, if he doesn't, then who the fuck needs him? He may be the greatest fighter in the world, but hey, I ain't going to go bankrupt promoting him On paper, Terence Crawford made $4 million. Kell Brook too. And of course, there's more after that. And this is on ESPN. Fox is available in more homes. Fox, I don't consider ESPN free TV. They say it's free TV, but it's not. ESPN, I'm from the school where it's like ESPN is basic cable. You got to have a cable box to have ESPN. So I don't say that's not free TV. So when you hear Dana White saying, of course, it's on free ESPN and Bob Amos on free ESPN, it's not free. You got to have cable, So Fox, you can get Fox for free. But at the same time, in this streaming generation, you can get all the shit for free. So, moving on. As The Athletic reported last week, Crawford's Jr. with Top Rank is set to expire by October 2021, a deadline allowing 1 or 2 more fights, likely 2 more. Both of these could be the career-defining matches for the pound-for-pound occupant who stands at the WBO, blah, blah, blah. So, before we get to the next quote, here, let's listen to this. And by the way, I do feel that Bob Arum needs to be muzzled a little bit. I understand he's the top dog, but some of the shit he said, especially him going on, and I don't think he knows, I don't think he really knows, that him doing media rounds on known top rank, how can I say it? Known channels who slander Top Rank and Terence Crawford. For him to go in there and double down on comments is just like, yo, somebody need to grab his fucking phone. Like, what the fuck? He making everybody else's job over there harder, But however, as I said on my Twitter, he being truthful. By the way, take your time out to like the video, subscribe. We're not doing this for a help. Thank you for all those who have been liking the video. I'm just getting used to telling people consistently in every video, please like the video. It's really helping out the channel a lot. Like, numbers are all up across the board. We're talking about like 2015 numbers. Like, shit is really, and the thing is, I'm not even really feeling boxing like that because there's too much politics and too much bullshit going on. But I love the sport. I can never say there's going to be a Saturday night or a major fight on when I won't be covering it. You dig me? It's always going to be like that, And plus, I put too much money in this shit. Ain't no quitting. So it's just that I'm just like, I'm branching out. That's basically what it is. But I'm still going to be covering boxing. Look at me here, fucking 2:30 in the morning, covering this because this is some intriguing shit, right? So anyway, getting back to it. I don't think, now they're going to try to deliver the Manny Pacquiao fight. From what I've read from the Athletic last week, is that there was a deal in place for Terence Crawford to fight Manny Pacquiao. And how do you pronounce it? Qatar, Katar, Middle East. Pacquiao was going to make somewhere around $23.5 million. Bud Crawford, these are guaranteed $6 million or so. It would have generated a lot more. I'm guessing it would have been on Top Rank on ESPN pay-per-view, or would have been on the Plus. We don't know. But it was supposed to generate big money. Now, other deals are in place. And this was before COVID. And of course, that fight needed a crowd. But now with the second roundup of COVID and Manny Pacquiao potentially having bigger offers, for example, tell me that Manny Pacquiao can't fight Danny Garcia, Errol Spence winner, for more money. However, you must also factor in, very important, that Manny Pacquiao does not like paying American taxes. So his option would be to fight in somewhere like Saudi Arabia, as the Mikey Garcia on the Zone rumors were before. So an overseas fight or out of the United States fight, is very lucrative for Manny Pacquiao. In fact, I don't see Manny Pacquiao fighting in the United States again, to be honest with you. My own personal opinion, So here's what Bob Arum said. The question is, do we keep him? I could build a house in Beverly Hills on the money I've lost on him in the last 3 fights. A beautiful home. Nobody questions Crawford's innate tremendous ability by beating a naturally bigger guy in Kell Brook decisively. That's the big statement That's the big statement he's making. The question is, does it pay the bills? Look, you can have the greatest opera singer in the world. If the fans don't support it, you're out of business. Boxing is a business. You see what I'm saying? But I don't think that you should go out there and say this shit like this to the media, bro. Especially with the fuck these degenerate boxing people on YouTube and social media. Never in my career has anybody done anything like that. Oh, they talking about Brook. We already listened to that. So But I do strongly feel that Crawford's got to do something. I was at a Top Rank event last year. I was at a lot of Top Rank events last year, and I overheard people in the business saying the same shit. Like as they walked away from a Crawford interview, like, man, he just got to give us something, like, you know. And the showman part, it's not like, you know, you don't want somebody to be inauthentic. For example, Wilder. Don't get me started on him. He be on some fake bullshit. That motherfucker's a weirdo. I'm not really, I used to like Wilder, but he done took this shit too far. You know, so you don't want somebody to be inauthentic. But at the same time, it's like, bro, all right. You know, for example, he was on Max on Boxing the other day, before the fight, after the weigh-in. And Max had to tell him, like, all right, I hope you have more to say, champ, because we're here on live TV. And it's like, Terence Crawford, what the fuck, bro? You know, like, what the fuck? And it's hard for me to say, you know, with looking at the resume, let's go look at it. Let's go look at it. I'm not saying it's not his fault. I'm not saying that I don't feel that it's been like a freeze out. But at the same time, people are going to say, well, why? It's his fault for signing back with Top Rank. Who says that the grass is always greener on the other side? PBC couldn't secure the deal for Canelo. I understand it would have been super short notice for a pay-per-view, but it's like, yo, he'd make a good money over there. You know, but I just don't like the fact that it's always, you know, pointing at like other sides besides PBC. PBC has a very well-known reputation for not letting their fighters go anywhere. It's always you got to come to them. Always. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with their business plan. I'm not saying that. You know, it works for them, but the grass is not always greener over there. You know, I just wish that it wasn't so much bullshit with making these fights, especially a fight like this where a guy right now, he's 33 years old, ladies and gentlemen. 33 years old. You know? I mean, Jose Benavidez, I rated that fight highly. Jeff Horn, okay, yeah. Amir Khan, meh. Kavaliauskas was a mandatory. I never shit on mandatories. Kell Brook, I rated that fight high. But when you look at the rankings by the WBO, who does he fight next? In fact, my man told me that the WBO rankings, the new ones are out right now. Hold up. WBO. The new rankings for this month are out right now by the WBO. Let's go check them out. WBO 2020. November. Welterweight. Let's go check them out. Oh, my bad. What? Did I do something wrong? Here, jump cut. Nope, my bad. The new rankings aren't out. But here, let's go back to this.
Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury twice. Will we see Bud in the ring with Errol Spence in the near future?
Errol Spence will try to avoid Terence Crawford as long as he can because he knows he can't beat Terence Crawford. You saw the performance tonight. I mean, he'll take out Errol Spence in about the same number of rounds like he took out Kell Brook.
Now, we all want to see that fight. I know you want that fight. There was a lot written this week. Where are you, Terence, in terms of your future?
Well, I'm looking to secure a Pacquiao fight. You know, we was close to securing a Pacquiao fight prior to this fight, but being that the COVID, you know, was getting out of hand, the fans couldn't attend the fight, so we had to put a halt to it, and that's when we decided to go with Kell Brook. He was the next available known welterweight that was available to fight. So now we're gonna go back to the drawing board and try to revisit that fight with Manny Pacquiao.
You know, I mean, which fight is more likely, him versus Spence, if Spence beats Danny Garcia first, or, you know, Manny Pacquiao? So, here, let me read this. Let me read this for you. I'm not going to keep calling someone out every time you put a camera in my face, Crawford said. I already did that. I'm not going to do it anymore. If it gets made, it gets made. I'm not mad. I'm not sad. If it don't happen, it don't happen. It's the way the card rolls. I wish all the top welterweights the best. He said he'll watch Spence's December fight, December 5th, 2-belt title defense against former 2-division champ Danny Garcia, but don't expect him to post an avalanche of tweets prodding Spence for the fight most of the boxing world crave in 2021. We can make the fight in 2 seconds, Arum said, but how do you pay for it? Even on pay-per-view. These guys are talking wanting 10 million each. You know how many pay-per-views you have to do to get there? You have to do 700,000 to break even. And you have to get there without a gate and no closed circuit. Very, very good point. Very, very good point. That's going to require the fighters to become marketing men. Very, very, especially in a time like this. Listen, I'm not saying that a lot of these comments, especially the before ones that Arum shouldn't have said, you know, but at the same time, you know, you have to look at Crawford and say, okay, well, like, listen, you motherfuckers got to eat now. Like, you know, you got to sell. See, a lot of people confuse a lot of the role of the promoter. Yes, the promoter is to sell you. Yes, the promoter is to put on the event and everything like that and get you out there. But the fighters, you're entertainers yourself. Floyd Mayweather knows it. So a lot of people, you know, especially fans, you know, and nitpicking fans, they like to put it on the promoters. For example, you can look at Al Heyman's side. They'd be like, okay, well, Leonard Ellerbe the closest thing to the promoter that they got. Like, he really, really, you can talk to Leonard Ellerbe and he tell you what's the path of fighters and shit. You know, to whereas in, when it comes to other fighters, and that's only if they're on Mayweather Promotions cards. So people look at promoters differently, but in Terence Crawford's situation, I do feel he could do more to sell himself. You know, you see guys like the Charlos that just kind of disappear a little bit. Keith Thurman that kind of disappeared. Well, he's getting a lot better being out there. But for a while, Keith Thurman would just fight and then just disappear. You know, Terence Crawford be doing the same shit. However, his numbers are still good, but if he was, you know, like, but it's too late now. The man's 33. You know, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, as they say, you know? So as far as the Pacquiao fight, it's just like, you know, I don't see that shit happening. High risk, low reward. You know? But at the same time, I'm tired of it. And then when I look at the 147-pound rankings, I think, like, well, if it's not going to be a PBC fighter like Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, it's not going to be Jaron Boots Enos. When you look at this when you're a champion at 147, you have to fight somebody in the top 15 to defend your title. Terence Crawford is going to come back in April, May, usually back in April. Who was he going to fight? Your Dennis Ugas? Sean Porter? No, these are PBC fighters. Keith Thurman? You know? I mean, who? Virgil Ortiz is creeping up on a mandatory. But do you think that we're going to see that? We'll see that probably by next October. What if the WBO does order it? But doesn't Virgil Ortiz have to have an eliminator first? Also, isn't he possibly signing with, are those rumors true of him and MTK? And then you got possible, you know, chatter of him at 154. He beat up, in my opinion, a 154-pounder in Kell Brook. I'm not seeing his probably. I don't know. You know, it's just who. None of the names, unless it's a PBC guy, moves the needle. None of them. Josh Taylor, he got to fight Ramirez first. And I'm not high on. I'm not high on Bud Crawford versus either of those guys. So they got to figure some shit out, man. Or as Bob Arum has been saying, it's pretty much like Terence Crawford's bags is already like at the door. They're like, yo, sell yourself or get out. That's what it's looking like to me, is that they're ready to let him walk. So it's like, let him walk. But you still got 2 more fights left with him, right? At what, $4 million apiece? Sheesh, how much? And then isn't it some type of rumor, some extra million they got to give him if something don't, some shit? But for the boxing fans, you know, we just got to hope that it works out for him, man. That if he goes over the PBC, that he do get the big fights, and they don't bullshit around with him. Have him go over there, and then like, all right, well, this is his first fight with PBC. Let's have him fight a fucking Jose Zito Lopez. If Jose Zito Lopez beat Francisco Santana on the undercard or Spence versus Garcia, some shit like that. I wouldn't mind a whole Crawford versus Jose Zito Lopez fight, but that's very PBC. No, we want to see a motherfucking Ugas or motherfucking straight off the bat. We don't got time for this bullshit. And also, if Terence Crawford goes over to PBC, guarantee he's going straight to pay-per-view. Because remember, they got to match the money that he's making over here at Top Rank. So we're looking at a 2021, 2022, definitely 2022 with possibly pay-per-views every month. Boxing. And then you got motherfucking fans who don't even pay for fights bitching at the zone and shit like that. Like, oh, don't get me wrong, the zone did us dirty. For all those months we were paying and shit, we wasn't getting nothing. But the concept, though, you know, motherfuckers be ass backwards, man, all for petty shit, and we all paying, you know. None of this cut on my finger. Anyway, I'm TstreeT Controversy with FightView360.com. Please subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at TstreeT4Life. Please be sure to like the video.